Before there were gods, before there were humans, before there were oceans, mountains, stars, or even time itself, there was only silence. No light, no darkness, no sky, no earth, no life. Only an endless, formless emptiness known as chaos. This is where one of humanity's greatest mythologies begins. A story filled with powerful gods, terrifying monsters, legendary heroes, tragic love, and epic wars that have inspired the world for more than 3,000 years. Welcome to the complete story of Greek mythology. This is not just a collection of myths. It is the story of how the ancient Greeks understood the universe itself. In the beginning, there was chaos. Chaos was not a god in the traditional sense, nor was it simply disorder. It was the endless void that existed before creation itself. It had no beginning, no end, no shape, no direction, and no concept of time. Imagine floating in absolute nothingness. There are no stars shining above you, no ground beneath your feet, no air to breathe, no sound to hear, and no light to guide your way. That endless emptiness was chaos. Yet hidden within this infinite void was the potential for everything that would ever exist. From chaos emerged the first primordial beings, ancient forces that would shape reality itself. The first to appear was Gaia, the earth. Gaia became the foundation of all life. She was the mountains, valleys, forests, rivers, and fertile lands that would one day support every living creature. She was both the planet itself and the great mother of creation. Soon after came Tartarus, the deepest abyss imaginable. Far beneath Gaia, Tartarus stretched into endless darkness. It was more than just a place. It was an ancient force that would later become the prison of monsters, titans, and defeated gods. Then came Eros, the primordial force of love and attraction. Unlike the winged Cupid that many know today, this early Eros represented the invisible power that brought separate beings together. Without Eros, nothing could unite, and without unity, life itself could never begin. Next emerged Erebus, the embodiment of deep darkness, followed by Nyx, the goddess of night. Nyx was among the oldest and most mysterious beings in all of Greek mythology. Her power was so immense that even Zeus, who would one day rule the heavens, respected and feared her. Together, Nyx and Erebus brought new forces into existence. They gave birth to ether, the brilliant light of the upper heavens, the pure air breathed only by the gods. They also created Hemera, the goddess of day. Every sunrise became a symbolic exchange between mother and daughter. As Hemera entered the world bringing daylight, Nyx quietly withdrew, covering the opposite side of the universe with darkness. When evening arrived, Hemera departed, allowing Nyx to return once again. This endless cycle became the first rhythm of time. But Nyx's family extended far beyond day and night. She gave birth to sleep, death, dreams, doom, old age, deception, retribution, misery, conflict, and countless other forces that affected every aspect of existence. To the ancient Greeks, these were not simply emotions or natural events. They were living divine powers influencing both gods and mortals alike. Meanwhile, Gaia remained alone upon the newborn earth. Desiring a companion, she created Uranus, the sky. Uranus stretched endlessly above her, forming the great dome of the heavens. Every mountain reached toward him. Every cloud drifted within him, and together, Gaia and Uranus became the first great divine couple. From their union came 12 extraordinary children, known as the Titans. There were 6 sons and 6 daughters. Among them were Oceanus, ruler of the great river surrounding the world; Hyperion, associated with heavenly light; Iapetus, who would become the ancestor of many important figures; Themis, goddess of divine law; Mnemosyne, goddess of memory; Rhea, future mother of the Olympian gods, and finally, Cronus, the youngest, most ambitious, and most cunning of them all. For a time, the universe appeared peaceful, but not every child born to Gaia and Uranus was a Titan. They also gave birth to 3 enormous cyclopes, giant beings with a single eye in the center of their foreheads, though later myths often portrayed cyclopes as savage creatures. These first cyclopes were gifted craftsmen whose incredible skills would one day shape the fate of the gods. After them came the terrifying Titanomachy, the 100-handed ones. Each possessed 100 mighty arms and 50 heads. Their strength was unmatched, and when they roared, the heavens themselves trembled. Yet Uranus looked upon these children with fear rather than love. Ashamed of their appearance, he imprisoned them deep inside Gaia, trapping them forever within the earth. Gaia suffered terribly. The weight of her imprisoned children caused unbearable pain. Again and again she pleaded with Uranus to free them. Again and again he refused. Eventually, her sorrow became anger. Determined to end Uranus's cruel rule, Gaia forged an enormous sickle from the hardest metal in existence. She gathered her Titan children and asked who among them would stand against their father. Most were too frightened to answer. Only Cronus accepted the challenge. Young, fearless, and hungry for power, Cronus took the sickle and waited patiently for the perfect moment. One night, as Uranus descended from the heavens to embrace Gaia, Cronus emerged from hiding. With a single devastating strike, he attacked his father. The heavens echoed with Uranus's cry. His reign had come to an end. As Uranus fell away from Gaia, the sky separated from the earth for the very first time. The space between them became the world that humanity would one day inhabit. Cronus claimed the throne of the universe, becoming ruler of the Titans and ushering in a new age. Yet the overthrow of Uranus changed far more than who ruled the cosmos. Drops of Uranus's divine blood fell upon Gaia, and wherever they landed, new beings were born. The fearsome Furies, spirits of vengeance, emerged to punish terrible crimes. The mighty giants rose from the earth, destined to challenge the gods in ages to come. The ash tree nymphs also came into existence, spirits connected to war and strength. Meanwhile, the remains of Uranus fell into the endless sea. As they drifted across the waves, white foam gathered around them. From that shimmering sea, foam arose a figure of breathtaking beauty. A goddess unlike any the universe had ever seen. She was Aphrodite, destined to become the goddess of love, beauty, desire, and passion. And with her birth, the stage was finally set for the next great chapter of Greek mythology. A tale of betrayal, prophecy, war, and the rise of the mighty Olympian gods led by Zeus. When Cronus overthrew his father, Uranus, he believed he had ended an age of fear. The universe was finally his. The Titans ruled the heavens, the earth, and the seas. Peace seemed to return. And for a time, the cosmos entered a golden age. Crops grew in abundance, the land was fertile, and the Titans reigned over a world that appeared stable. But power has a way of creating fear. The same prophecy that destroyed Uranus would soon haunt Cronus, and that fear would lead him to commit one of the darkest acts in all of Greek mythology. Cronus becomes king. After defeating Uranus, Cronus claimed the throne of the universe. His sister Rhea became his queen. Together they ruled over the Titans, while the Cyclopes and the 100-handed ones remained imprisoned in Tartarus, exactly where Uranus had left them. Cronus believed that strength alone could keep his kingdom safe, but the words of his dying father echoed in his mind. Uranus had cursed Cronus, declaring that one day, just as Cronus had overthrown his own father, one of his own children would overthrow him. At first, Cronus ignored the warning, but as time passed, the prophecy consumed him. Every child that Rhea carried became another possible threat to his throne. Fear slowly replaced wisdom. Love gave way to paranoia. The children of Cronus and Rhea gave birth to 6 children. The first was Hestia, goddess of the hearth and home. The moment she was born, Cronus seized the infant and swallowed her whole. The court of the Titans stood in stunned silence. The king had devoured his own daughter. When Rhea gave birth again, this time to Demeter, Cronus did the same. Then came Hera, swallowed. Then Hades, swallowed. Then Poseidon, swallowed. One after another, Cronus consumed each child before they could grow. Because the children were immortal, they did not die. Instead, they remained trapped inside Cronus, alive but imprisoned within him. Rhea watched 5 of her children disappear. She was heartbroken. The joy of motherhood had become unbearable sorrow. Rhea's desperation. When Rhea became pregnant for the 6th time, she refused to lose another child. She sought the guidance of Gaia, her mother. Gaia reminded Rhea that prophecies cannot be escaped. Trying to prevent destiny often brings it to life. Together, Gaia and Rhea devised a daring plan. When the child was born, Rhea secretly traveled to the island of Crete. There, hidden inside a cave on Mount Ida, she gave birth to a baby boy. His name was Zeus. The cries of the newborn echoed through the cave. To keep Cronus from hearing him, mythical warriors known as the Curetes clashed their shields and spears together, creating thunderous noise that drowned out the baby's cries. Some stories say magical goats nursed Zeus, others tell of divine nymphs who raised him in secret. Every version agrees on one thing: Zeus survived. The stone that fooled a king. Rhea wrapped a large stone in blankets, making it look like a sleeping baby. She returned to Cronus. Without looking closely, Cronus grabbed the bundle and swallowed it whole. Satisfied that the prophecy had been defeated once again, he never realized he had swallowed nothing more than a rock. Meanwhile, Zeus grew stronger every year. He learned from the spirits of nature. He watched storms gather over mountains. He observed the stars move across the sky. He became powerful, wise, and determined. Most importantly, he never forgot the fate of his brothers and sisters. Zeus learns the truth. As Zeus reached adulthood, Gaia revealed the full story. His father had imprisoned his siblings. The Cyclopes remained chained beneath the earth. The 100-handed one still suffered in Tartarus. The Titans ruled through fear rather than justice. Zeus knew the universe needed a new ruler, but defeating Cronus would not be easy. The Titan King possessed unimaginable power. Zeus first needed to free his brothers and sisters, the potion of liberation. With the help of the clever Titaness Metis, Zeus prepared a powerful potion. Disguised as a servant, Zeus entered the palace of Cronus. He offered the king a special drink. Cronus swallowed it without suspicion. Moments later, he became violently ill. Unable to contain what he had swallowed, Cronus began to vomit. First came the stone, then Hestia, then Demeter, then Hera, then Hades, finally Poseidon. The 5 siblings emerged fully grown, unchanged by the years they had spent inside their father. For the first time, the children of Cronus stood together. The prophecy had begun to unfold. The Titanomachy begins. The universe divided into 2 great armies. On one side stood the Titans, led by Cronus. On the other stood Zeus and his brothers and sisters. The war that followed became known as the Titanomachy. It would last 10 long years. Mountains shattered, oceans boiled, lightning split the skies. The earth trembled beneath every battle. Neither side could gain a decisive victory. The conflict seemed endless. The secret to victory, Gaia, appeared once more. She told Zeus that the Titans could never be defeated unless the prisoners of Tartarus were freed. Ignoring the fears of the other gods, Zeus descended into the deepest abyss. He broke the chains that bound the Cyclopes. He freed the 100-handed ones. Grateful for their freedom, they pledged themselves to Zeus. The Cyclopes crafted 3 legendary weapons. To Zeus, they gave the thunderbolt, a weapon capable of shaking heaven and earth. To Poseidon, they gave the mighty trident, which commanded every sea and caused earthquakes. To Hades, they gave the helmet of invisibility, allowing its wearer to vanish from sight. Armed with these gifts, the Olympians prepared for the final battle. The final battle. The 100-handed ones hurled hundreds of massive boulders at the Titans. The sky darkened with flying mountains. Zeus unleashed bolt after bolt of lightning. Each strike shattered cliffs and ignited forests. Poseidon struck the earth with his trident, splitting the land apart. Hades moved unseen among the enemy, creating confusion and fear. At last, the Titans could no longer resist. Cronus was defeated. His reign had ended. The prophecy was fulfilled. The fate of the Titans. The defeated Titans were chained and cast into Tartarus. The 100-handed ones became their eternal guards. Some Titans, however, were spared. Those who had remained neutral during the war were allowed to live freely. Atlas received the harshest punishment. Rather than imprisonment, he was condemned to stand forever at the western edge of the world, carrying the heavens upon his shoulders. It was a burden he would bear for eternity. The new rulers of the cosmos. With victory secured, the 3 brothers divided creation. Zeus became ruler of the sky and king of the gods. Poseidon became lord of the seas. Hades became ruler of the underworld, where the souls of the dead would dwell. The earth itself remained shared among all the gods. From their new home atop Mount Olympus, the Olympians would guide the fate of gods and mortals alike. A new age had begun. The birth of Olympus. Mount Olympus became the greatest palace in existence. Its halls were built of shining gold and marble. The air was always warm. No storms reached its summit unless Zeus commanded them. The gods feasted on ambrosia, drank nectar, and watched over the world below. But peace would not last forever. Far beneath the earth, ancient enemies still waited. New monsters would rise, heroes would be born, wars would be fought. Love, betrayal, vengeance, and destiny would shape the future of both gods and mankind. The story of Greek mythology was only beginning.